Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. Do you hear what I hear? I hear no banging this morning, so let's turn a negative into a positive. It is so cold here that the workers have not shown up yet this morning. It is brr cold. I won't tell you what it is in Celsius because a lot of you are in Fahrenheit, but it's cold here in the Boston, Massachusetts area. So I am so glad that we're not hearing banging this morning so that I can show you this terrific tutorial that I have created for you. Now, this tutorial was originally going to be a paid tutorial, but there was a problem. And the problem was that the products that I wanted to use for this tutorial kept going out of stock. And in fact, I'll just show you right now. This is one of the boxes here. This is called, I'm calling it my arched Tealight holder gift box. And the problem was at first we had the party alphabet dies that went out of stock. And now the everyday arches dies, they are in stock currently, but they are in low supply. So if you would like to get them, they are hovering on low inventory right now. They will be coming back into stock. There is a stamp set that matches the everyday arches dies that is last chance, but it is you do not need that stamp set. In fact, I'm not using that stamp set for these boxes, but these are just so beautiful. And let me see if I can get all three in the correct order. Is this going to work? Yes. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to align them because I'm mirrored to myself. So I have all three of these right here. Let's bring them into view. They each have a color changing tea light in them. So it's kind of fun to watch them change different colors from white to red to blue to green to yellow, purple, and in between. And you can put these on a mantle and they look really cool. You can spell out whatever word you want. Joy is a nice short word for my photos and for just executing everything. But it is beautiful. I just love the way these turned out. I'm going to show you how to make these. And then if you're on my email list, you will get a project sheet tomorrow. And my printer has not been used in a couple of weeks, I think. And I have, this is not exactly how yours will print out because my printer is like skipping some dots and that's why it's got stripes across there. But I will have a project sheet for you if you are on my email list. And to get on my email list, you need to go down in the description of this video, or if you're on my blog, there will be a link to join my email list, and then you will get this project sheet sent to you tomorrow. And on the second page, I have a diagram of all the parts, all the pieces that come together to make these boxes. Now, I should just grab, I'm gonna pop over here and grab, I did make a box similar to this box that I'm making today. And that was this box earlier in the year. They are different sizes. Okay, both of these boxes are sized for the dies that will be decorating them. So this one here uses the largest arch, and this one here uses smaller arches. So, but they, you know, if you want to make both, you absolutely can. They're just, you know, slightly different in size. But I wanted to point out that this one is still available, and if you're get on my email list now, you will have links, a link to my past project sheets. Look for that link in your welcome email. And for those of you who have lost that link, wait for tomorrow, please. And on my Saturday email that goes out, at the very bottom of that email, there is a banner, and that banner links you back to that page. So if you get tomorrow's email, you will have access to back project sheets. Okay, what else can I tell you? Oh, we have a product of the month this month. So say you're going to be purchasing the party alphabet dies or the everyday arches dies, and you get to $75 in total, or for your product total, before taking, well, you can't take any coupons off that amount to lower it below 75, but $75 is the crucial threshold. And then we have this new thing called the product of the month that has started this month. And this is this month's product of the month. It's called the True Blue Florals Designer Series paper. It's a 12 by 12 paper. You can see the designs there. They're double-sided paper, 12 sheets, and you can add that to a $75 order for only $5. Just do not forget to add it to your order, because there's no way to put it in after the fact. So just like really concentrate. And I only say that because I made that mistake myself. And I was, I'm getting the product of the month, and boom, like I forgot it. So just remember to add it. And and I couldn't cancel my order then afterwards, so it just had to go with the flow, and I had to order it again. So make sure when you're doing this, add it right away. You can always take it off if you decide against it, but this paper is gorgeous. It's different shades of blue, different patterns. You can only earn one per month. So hopefully this paper will last for people wanting to purchase it in the middle of the month. But just remember, it is a limited supply. So if it runs out on the 20th December or the 10th of December, there is no more product of the month. It is a while supplies last kind of thing. But at least people won't be able to get 10 packs of it. So hopefully it will be spread among most people who want it. And hopefully it will last till the end of the month for everyone who wants it. All right. And they have told us that these will not end up in the clearance rack in the future, that these are exclusive products that are only for the product of the month. Okay, and as always, if you order from me, you will also get to choose one of my free with purchase tutorials, and all you have to do is spend at least $20 with me to get that. Let me see, I've got, this is one of the tutorials with the sign design bundle using the stamp set and the punch. And this is one of my free with purchase tutorials that is still available that you can choose. You can choose whichever one you want. I've got lots of tutorials to choose one. And then I also have my complete Ribbon Savers complete guide. That's another tutorial that you can choose for free. That guide has an awesome summary page at the end of it with a whole bunch of different ribbon sizers. It's actually what I keep at my desk. So when I get a new ribbon roll, all I do is go to that one-page chart. But it has a lot more information in it about how to make these and how to make them so that they fit right and everything. Lots of guidance for you there. All right. Oh, and of course, just one more thing. Do not forget that Stampin' Up! Gives out Stampin' Rewards. If your order is $20 or more, the only things you need to do to qualify for that are you need to be signed in to your Stampin' Up! Account. You cannot check out as a guest. You have to be signed in. And the reason for that is if you sign out as a guest, Stampin' Up! Doesn't have a way or a place to collect those rewards for you because they're not sharing. They're not saving your information. So you need to create an account and be signed in. And the other thing then is you need to be opted in for rewards. If as you are placing your order, you don't see a place where you are accumulating rewards, like it will say rewards that you're going to earn for this placing this order. If you do not see that, then you are probably not opted in for getting rewards, and you get 10% back. So if you place a $100 order, you're going to get $10 that you can use on a future order. And those rewards, they continue to exist for at least a year. So you will have a year to spend them, and so that's a good long time, and they sit there waiting for you to put on your next order. And it's a completely free program. So please make sure you are opted in and that you sign in. Do not check out as a guest when you sign out. And then just make sure your order is over $20. And most orders usually are. So it is really a great way to earn rewards on almost every single order that you place. All right, I think I've done a lot of talking, but I'm always very discouraged at the end of the month when I see people that haven't opted into those rewards and could have gotten rewards. And I want you to have rewards, and it's a free program from Stampin' Up. So don't forget to make use of it. All right, I see a lot of you here this morning. I'm so glad you're here. It makes my lives a lot better. Let me know if it's cold where you're at today. It is so cold here. So anyway, I am going to jump in and we'll talk about this lovely box, and we'll make it from start to finish. Let me switch over to my other camera. Okay, everything is upside down here. Okay, so here are the boxes. These little Tealight holders, I have a link down. Let's turn one on. The whole body of these, I don't know if you can see this, the whole body of it glows and lights up. It's kind of hard to see. How can I best showcase this? It's going to roll a little bit. But the whole body kind of lights up and glows, and so it's really nice inside of these boxes. I have a link to the ones that I bought. Here they are. These ones are off of Amazon. And so I'm testing out the link for you to make sure that you get ones that work really well. Inside the boxes here, I have created a little bit of a spot for that Tealight holder to sit. So when you pick it up, it's not going to shift from left to right or backwards and forward. It's going to stay put where you put it. There's a little bit, it's a little bit of tension. It's a very like a snug fit, I should say. Now, if you shake this around, the Tealight holder will come out, but you know, I'm turning it upside down here and it's kind of staying in place. But yet, I can pry it out pretty easily and then turn it off if I want to. So that is how you do it. And then these boxes, they fit quite snugly. I'm actually going to turn these off for now. I hate to waste battery. And then we'll turn them on at the end again. But they're just a snug fit. You want that because also it helps keep the box shut. Now you'll see here, you've got a lot of room to put a little gift inside here. And one of the easiest gifts to give is candy. So if you do these joy boxes for someone, you could put a different candy in each box, and then you have the little Tealight holder at the bottom. This is truly a very nice gift. Today I'm gonna do my initial, because sometimes you're not going to want to make 3 boxes for someone. You're going to want to make just one box, right? And you can make one box and you can make that person's initials, and that can still be really special. Think about these for different occasions, like birthdays. This would make a nice little birthday box. For different events and things like that. It will work for other seasons. So this is just my Christmas version, but I know you're going to come up with lots of different ways to use this. Okay, I am going to put these over here. I just saw someone, she said, using them as a place setting. Oh, she used the Tealights using your place setting idea, and they sold fantastic at a craft fair. Ooh. So these ones might also like really do well at a craft fair, or they also like, wouldn't this be cute to have on everyone's table, like on everyone's place setting at the Christmas table. This would be really sweet, and you have everyone's like initial, and that would be kind of a cute little way to dress up the table. Looks really nice from the side. This is how I chose what color I was going to do the box in. I looked at the paper, and the background color of the paper here is Secret Sea, so I carried that over to the front. What that does, it kind of allows kind of a seamless look. I want to show you real quick. I did this one. This one was my initial tester one. This one's also cute, but this one, if I had brought the white over to the front, this M wouldn't show up very well when it was unlit. So I went with a green, but I kind of like this when it's got kind of the more seamless design, just a little bit different. But here you can see with a lighter background, you kind of want to have a bit of contrast between, like, so a darker color for the front to contrast with the vellum that is right here. And we do finally have vellum back as a product, so look for that in the supply list. Okay, let's talk really briefly about what I used to make these. We're using these arches dies. These are called the Everyday Arches, and they are carrying over. And then we have the Party Alphabet dies. Actually, there's one more sheet of these. Let me grab them. Grab them all. Come here. Where are you? Okay. Then we have the special characters for other languages, and you can also use these, like say you wanted to do an exclamation mark, you've got the punctuation to do that. But if you're French or German, you have the ability to change those out a little bit. I think this box will work for most letters. I think this one, you know what? It probably would be okay. Like if you needed like that, it would just go down a little bit lower. So I think most of these will fit, like even like chunky ones like the Q, that will work. So I think all of these letters, and the I think when I originally designed this a few weeks ago, I kind of chose a size that would work. Actually, this is a W. I chose a size that would work for all of them. I don't see one that I don't think it would work for. So, all right, let's pop this over to the side. Okay, so those are the Party Alphabet dies. Oh, and before I forget, because I know I will forget, after I did the joy boxes, I made myself a card. I had a J, I had an O, and a Y, and I'm like, why not make myself a cute, easy card? And this, I'm just gonna tell you right now, because I will forget at the very end. This is just a regular card base, 8.5 by 5.5. These strips of paper here are 5.5 by 5/8. The white piece of Designer Series paper is 5.5 by 2.5. So, and both of these are the same. So they're 5.5 by 5/8. And then the Cherry Cobbler cardstock just peeks through on the bottom. And the joy is directly from those letters that I cut out. So if you were giving the joy boxes as an ensemble, you could make a matching card to put with those boxes, and that would be really cute. Or you've already got those letters cut out to make a card very, very easily. All right, one more thing that I used was the Delicate Pines bundle, and I used this to decorate my my boxes. So it's not integral in the construction of the boxes, but I love these. These are so cute, like the pine cone with the pines right there. And then I also use the stamp set. I don't know if you can see that, but I wanted to add just a little bit more detail on there. So I just took my Secret Sea ink pad and I just did a few pine branches stamped down. That's this stamp right here. And I just added a few little details. So that is how I decorated this bundle. All right, lots of talk, but I want to show you when I do this, I want to show you what you need to do it. Okay, so we're going to start off, we're going to do our die cutting first. This might be a little bit different than I do in order for the directions, but I kind of want to get the die cutting out of the way first. So we're using 2 dies in the construction of this. And the first die, the outer box for both the front and the back, you're going to use this die here, and it measures 3 inches across. So find the die that measures 3 inches across. And the other die that we're going to use for the vellum and as a liner, this one's 2 5/8 inches across. Okay, so those are the 2 you're going to use. We're going to start and we're just going to do some die cutting. I'm going to bring out my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. And you know what? Not all of the dies will fit through here, but the 3-inch die, if you only have a mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss, this will fit through in this direction in your mini machine. If you only have a mini machine. Now, it won't allow you to use all the dies though, so I do recommend having the big machine for this. So we're going to start off with our base platform number 1, our thin die adapter number 2. We're going to put a cutting plate on the bottom, and here is another plate for the top. And let's grab the pieces that we need. Okay. I have a lot of pieces in my little box here. So we're going to take the 3-inch die and we're going to run it through the machine. Okay. So this piece right here, we're going to die cut a letter into here. So what you want to do, I'm just going to take this aside for a second. We're going to take our centering ruler, and I am just going to find the center of this piece, plus I'm going to use a white colored pencil so we can see the mark. So I'm going to center this, the lines, this is a centering ruler. If you want a centering ruler, I have one linked down below in the supply list. It's about 1.5 inches in from the side. So if you're measuring with a regular ruler, about 1.5 inches. And then see the midpoint of this ruler right here, this is 3/4 of an inch down, but I can just line up the bottom of this right here. And I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna make a tick mark right there. So that is what I'm gonna be centering my letter on. Zoom in a bit. And I'm going to grab, I feel like I create a centering mark and then I also like to eyeball it, because with letters we've got curves and stuff, and sometimes something that is centered doesn't actually look centered. So we're going to be doing, once we get it in the die cutting machine, we're going to be doing something like that. So let's pop our die cutting machine back up onto the stage here. Let's zoom out a bit. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. I want to make sure it like looks great. And it looks centered. And also that mark is telling me I want this to be 3/4 of an inch up. Why 3/4 of an inch? Because right here, because our tea lights are about, the base is about 3/4 of an inch. So that way you're not going to see the edge of this right up against the vellum. You might not see it anyway, but I just think that covering that section is like a good idea. So I'm just kind of looking, okay, I think I like that layout. Then I'm very carefully going to put this on there so it doesn't shift. If you feel it's going to shift, then I would definitely tape it with a top of the post-it note, or you can use this labeling and cover up tape, which is like the top of a post-it note. It's just a piece of paper with sticky on it, and you can tape your piece down. Okay, so here is a bee. If I was making this for a person, you could use the bee on the front of the card, the front of a card that I was making. Then you want to reserve these two pieces because we're going to glue those onto the vellum. So I'm just going to put them in my little box over here so I don't lose them. Because right now, this does not look like much, right? Without the little circles in the center. So we're just going to set that aside for a second. You are also going to cut a second one of the same size. One is for the front and one is for the back, and they are the same size. Did I say they were the same size? I just want to reiterate that just so you don't think that we're using the smaller one. Then we're going to cut a piece of vellum with the 2 5/8 inch across die. This is the smaller one, and this is going to go inside the box afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to roll this through. And I'm so glad we have vellum back because I use that on my tea light holders a lot. So it's nice to have that as a product in case you ran out. Awesome for tea light holders. Okay, and then we're going to do, actually, I already cut it. I cut one of this size in the same color, Secret Sea, and we're going to use this as a liner for the back of the box. It's just going to give the box strength. Does it need it? No, it's optional. So I don't think I even have it photographed on my on the second page, on the diagram page. I'm just cutting an extra one, just like the vellum is going to help give the front of the box a little bit of strength. We're going to add this as just a little strengthener for the back of the box, and it's going to seal in all the ends as well. So that is in the 2 5/8 inch size. I think we've done all the die cutting we need for the boxes themselves. You might need a few additional die cuts to decorate the front, but we have what we need for now. Okay, so now the fun part. We're going to build the sides of the box. So I'm going to bring in my scoring board, and we're going to bring in a few pieces, and let's see. Okay, I need to, that size, right size. Okay, so for this piece, we're going to start off by making the things we need for the lid, and this piece measures 9 3/8 by 2 inches. We're going to put the short side up at the top, and I'm going to score it at the 3/8 inch mark, like that. And I'm just going to put, to make things so we don't get confused, I'm going to put this end up at the top. I think this is symmetrical though, so it won't matter, but that's the way I always do things, so I like to kind of be consistent even across my tutorials if I can. So this is going to be scored at 3/8 at 3 1/4, 6 1/8 and 9 inches. Okay, that's what it looks like. I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to grab, make sure I have the right piece. This one goes aside, not this one. This one here. It's 4 1/8 inches by 2 inches. And this one we're going to score at the 3/8 inch mark. We're going to turn it to the top. And this time it does matter. It does need to be at the top. And we're going to use a ruler because we're only going to score part way down. And a ruler is going to help me stop at the score line. So by part way, I mean I'm going to score at all the 1/2 inch marks, but just to the score line. So if you're good at stopping, you can stop right at the score line, or you can take yourself a ruler. And I love this ruler for this. So I'm just going to put that up at the top. And now I'm going to score at the 1/2 inch marks. And because I've got that ruler sitting there, it's going to just help me to stop. I won't have to make my my fingers do the stopping. And on this end piece right here, I'm not going to score. You could score at the 4 inch mark, but I'm not going to score that last little 1/8. So this is what it looks like when it's scored. And we're going to set that aside. I'm going to go ahead, since I have my scoring board out, I'm going to score the pieces I need for the bottom of the box as well, just so we don't have to do that. So this is for the bottom of the box, and this piece is 9 1/4 by 2 inches. We're going to, again, put it the short side up at the top, score at the 3/8 inch mark, put that score line or the short scored segment up at the top. We're going to score at the 3/8 inch mark, 3 1/4, 6, and 8 7/8. That's what it looks like. We're going to now take the shorter piece. This piece measures 4 inches by 2 inches. Put one of the short sides up at the top, score at 3/8, turn the short scored segment so it's at the top, and we're going to use our ruler again, just putting it right below the score line. We're going to part way score at all the 1/2 inch marks. So 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, and then 4 is the end. And that is what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to set that aside as for those bottom pieces. And I think we have one more thing to score, but I'm going to leave that for afterwards so we don't get confused. All right, so now we need to just prep the pieces. We're going to prep the pieces for the top first. Just double check. This one is the 9 3/8 inch piece, and then I have the 4 1/8 inch piece here. So I'm going to, on the long piece, I'm going to cut away the little corner squares. I'm not going to angle cut these though. I'm just going to cut away the squares, okay? Just like that. I am going to angle cut both of these though. I'm going to fold them. They're going to be little V's. So I'm going to cut like this. These are quite wide V's that I want because these are going to be at 90-degree angles. So I'm cutting like a wider V for these. You can also cut like this and like this on the score line, but it's easier to do this. Okay, so there is piece number 1 prepped. Then we're going to prep this one. And so what I like to do for this one is I'm just going to cut. You can't fold on this one because the score lines don't go all the way up. So you're just gonna do, you just have to do shallow little ones for this because the angle isn't as steep that it needs to go around. So I'm gonna cut one side of the V first because it's kind of easier. I'm gonna flip this over and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the back, same angle, because my hand kind of likes to do this angle. And if I kind of keep it in the same direction, it goes pretty quickly. Okay, let's pull these out. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So don't fold these end tabs. Okay, they're actually just used for where to place this piece onto. So they actually don't need to get folded. If you fold them, it's okay. We just don't want them folded in the long run because our box doesn't fold that way. So I'm going to take this piece. This is going to be, the shorter piece is going to be the arch at the top of the box. So you're just going to take it and you're just going to give it a little curl because that arch, where's my box here? See, it's going to have to curl like that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take this and we're going to put glue on this unfolded piece. And we're going to just line this up. And I'm basically just lining it up till I cover most of that score line. Make sure it's straight along here because this is going to be the end of your box. So that's what it looks like. And then you're going to come over to the other side. And we're going to put glue on this side and slide that into place. Again, just make sure it's straight. And I would just like hold on to it for a few seconds, give it a little press. And we will be covering up the seam with designer series paper, so don't worry about the seam. Okay, so now we just need to fold down all the score lines for the little tabs. And you can see everything should lay pretty flat. That's the goal. We're going to, this is the top of the box, okay? These are the longer strips. So this is going to form the top of the box. So we have our piece that we cut the letter out. Make sure you cut that hole first because once it's glued, it's not going through the die cutting machine. So we want to have a stabilizing tab. So I'm going to use this bottom tab. I'm going to put glue on it first and we're going to glue it to the bottom of here. This is going to anchor your box to its front plate, and that way it's going to be easier to align the rest of the box. So for this, you want it to be like right against the edge. You want that die just to hover right on the very edge. So it's like right there, right on the edge. Once you feel like you've got it straight and it's where it needs to be, you're just gonna press that down because this is your anchor for the rest of the box. And I would say there's like maybe a teeniest tiny bit on either side that it doesn't go all the way to the sides, but that's the way it should be. So as close to the bottom edge as possible, and then you're going to see a slight little tiny hair of a overhang on either side. Okay, now that we've got this anchored this should be fairly easy. We're going to put glue on the side tabs, and then we're going to put them on all the little arches. We're going to glue the side tabs into place first, and then we're going to work on the rest of the top part. So I'm just going to come along here, and I'm going to match however far the overhang is down here. I'll show you in a second. I'm going to match that. So I'm just going to put it, blue is a hard, dark blue is a hard color, but I'm just going to match it right along the edge. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Just match it along the edge and give it a press. And then you're going to just kind of have a look here. You want this to arch nicely. You might need to shape it a little bit to get it to go in its best alignment. You can kind of see how that kind of comes around. So that's not too hard, right? So that is the front. So what I would do next, you can do one of two things. I'm going to do the paper next. So this strip of paper is 10 inches long by 1 5/8 inches wide. And we're going to glue this around the arch. Now this has to go on the top of the box and not the bottom of the box. The bottom of the box doesn't matter because you won't be seeing it. So I start off by putting glue. I'd rather put glue on my box than my designer series paper. I find it easier, but you might find it easier the other way. So you do whatever makes you happy. I'm going to put glue, not on the whole thing. I'm going to put glue on one of the sides and then the top arch until I hit that that next seam. That way I can put this down without gluing my box to the surface. And I'm just going to lay this on here, and you want to make sure that it's supposed to go kind of tucks behind the arch on the outside, because you know there's a little bit of a hair, a hangover, and you're just going to kind of press this into place. You want it to become one with the cardstock below it. Okay, just kind of pressing that down. Looks pretty nice. And then I can do this last side here with glue. Okay, and use a good quality paper crafting glue like Tombow. Of course I recommend Tombow. It is my favorite adhesive. I use it probably on all my projects. There's a few projects I might not use it on, but it is a really good glue for paper crafting. It does not have too much water in it or moisture content in it, so it doesn't make your paper wrinkle. You're going to have a bit of an overhang perhaps, and that's totally okay. That's why I have a 10-inch piece, so that you can snip off whatever remains. It's better to have something to snip off than have it fall short. Okay, so now we just need to add the vellum to the inside of this box. So what I do, I put the glue on the inside of the box rather than the vellum, because we can't have any where the bee is, right? So the piece that we cut is just a little bit on the inside of the outer piece. So I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch perimeter around the edge, but I am going to put glue right to that edge because this is going to help strengthen the box and seal in all of those little tabs. So I'm just kind of drawing around my bee. This glue is almost at the end of its cycle, which actually I like it when it gets like this because the stream is very little. and it's just kind of perfect. It still sticks properly. Okay, so we're just gonna let that just dry for a moment, because if you let it dry for a moment, it shows less through the vellum. Not that it really matters, but you know, because this is the inside of a box, right? So here's our vellum piece. We'll just let that set up for just a second. I'm gonna clean my desk. Get rid of some of these little pieces. All right, while that is just taking a little breather, let's prep the pieces for the bottom of our box. And they are prepped in the exact same way. So we're going to cut away the corner squares. Cut and cut. And then we're going to cut V's. And these V's are kind of big V's. Okay, and just remember, don't fold those outer two. Then we're going to cut small V's into this piece. And remember, we can't fold this piece because the score lines don't go all the way to the edge. And I want to have a nice little rounded top that follows the arch. Okay, and then just pull out any of these that want to kind of hang around. Okay. And then we want to curl this piece to help with that arch. And then we're going to glue the two pieces together. I feel like that wasn't lined up quite right. I had to shift it a bit. Okay, now we're pressing on that seam. Going to put glue on this other side tab and bring this together. And press. Press, 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 press. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit for a second. The vellum, the glue has pretty much dried. So I'm just going to pop this in here. And remember, it's kind of going to be about 1/8 of an inch in on all 4 sides. If it isn't perfectly centered, it's aesthetically, that's the only thing that will matter when you do that, but it's not going to matter for the front of the box because this is the inside of the box and this is not as important, right? It's just the cover for the box. Okay, then we're going to take our little pieces here. I'm kind of skipping back and forth a little bit. I don't know if these 2 B pieces, okay, is one bigger than the other? I think one is bigger than the other. Okay, I just kind of lined this up. So this one's going to go here, and this one's going to go here. So we'll just kind of put a little bit of glue. You know what? I'm going to let this dry again so that, again, it doesn't show as much when you let it dry first. Okay, we're just going to let those sit there for a minute. And then we're going to fold all the tabs. This is for the bottom of the box or the back of the box. We're going to fold all of those tabs. Okay, and then remember I cut a big and a small, and I remember the small piece I don't think appears on my diagram, but take the bigger piece, okay? The smaller piece is the liner piece. So the bigger piece, same as the outside piece, okay? They're both the same. Okay, we're going to take this and we're going to do an anchor down at the bottom again. Okay, so this time I'm using the back of the die cut, and you can kind of see there's one side that's nicer and one side that looks a little rougher, just because the dots that get kind of the stitching gets cut in on the one side, it makes it look nicer. So you're going to want this nice side to be on the outside, so I'm going to flip it down. And then this tab, you are going to glue it, not to the bottom quite. You're going to go up just a teeny tiny bit. But if you see the stitching, then you've gone too far, because you kind of just want like a little hair showing. I will show you in a second. You want just a teeny tiny bit of cardstock showing at the bottom. Yeah, I think I did it right. The first one that I did it right along the stitching, and I felt like the sizing when I got up to the top was just a teeny tiny bit off. So if you have it just a little bit below that, it works a little better. It's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see it's just a teeny tiny bit of a hair there. With a little, and then it's centered kind of from side to side. There's a little bit more cardstock on either side than there was on the lid, because it is, this inside piece is a little bit smaller. So once you've got that anchored, we're going to glue this in the exact same way as I did before, and that was a little bit of a blob. I always kind of use the nozzle to kind of draw my blobs into kind of lines instead of just big blobs of glue. Okay, we're going to stick this down, and we're just going to look here on this end. How far is that out? We're just going to follow that parallel all the way down, and we'll do the same thing for this side. You want to follow the line of the cardstock. You want that all even along the side, okay? And then you might need to shape this a little bit. You might need to press on the top to kind of get it to form where it's supposed to go. Then once everything looks good, you just give it another little press with your finger, and there you go. Now, if you did this optional piece, this slightly smaller piece, just like we did with the vellum on the inside, we can add this. And you know what? We can do this either way. If we're going to, I hate to drop this in because sometimes it drops a little crooked. So I kind of actually I have more control if I put the glue on the inside and just kind of go about 1/4 of an inch from the edge, because I do like the glue to be somewhat close to the edge, because that allows this piece to kind of seal in those tabs on the bottom. So I'm just going to lay this down. You're going to see about 1/8 of an inch around all the sides. Okay, that's straight enough. I mean, this is dark cardstock on dark cardstock, so it doesn't matter. One nice thing, if you wanted to, and you could absolutely do this if you wanted to, if you wanted to take a little piece of designer series paper and cut that instead of the matching cardstock, that would look nice too, and that would totally work. Okay, these little pieces have dried. So now I'm going to very carefully, oops, yeah, I'm going to kind of carefully put these in here. I'm just trying to, I'm not going to press down yet. I'm going to try and get them kind of where I want them. And this is how I did the O in joy. I just reserved the center of the O, and then I glued it onto the vellum. So I think that's good enough. I'm just going to press from both sides with my fingers. Okay, so the B on the box is good. We've got the back of the box done. And now for the tea light holder, I'm throwing my other box down. Okay, so tea light holder. This piece measures, and this is the same for all my tea light holders. It's 2 7/16 by 2 7/16. So 2 7/16 is just 1/16 less than 2.5 inches. So just go back one little tick mark, okay? This helps it be very nice and snug for our tea light holders, for our tea lights. So 2 7/16 by 2 7/16, and we're going to score at the 1/2 inch mark on all 4 sides. Looks like that. We're going to cut up and then create a little tab. We're just cutting to that first score line. Okay. And then I'm going to flip this. I like to cut kind of in the same corner each time. My hand likes to cut right here. So I'm cutting in though from the same side and then flipping over to the other side. You'll see in just a second. So 2 cuts on this side and 2 cuts on the opposite side. Okay. This is what's going to hold your tea light into place. So we're just going to fold along the score lines. Like that. And we're going to glue and glue and glue and glue. And we're just going to bring the corners together and press and press. Make sure your corners, your score line lines up with the edge of the cardstock, and that will make your corner really nice. And it's also going to be what keeps your tea light holder snug enough. You don't want the side to not be straight. So you can kind of see what I mean. Like I'm trying to get it as straight as possible. Okay, now, important thing, you have your front of the box and the back of the box. You're going to glue the tea light holder into the back of the box and not the front, because if you glue it into the front, this box will not fit. So you need to glue it into here because it's going to slide in. So the back of the box is where it gets glued. And I am just going to put glue on here. This time I'm going to keep it on the straightaway, and I'm going to push it all the way to the back here. And you just want to make sure it's centered. That's the whole idea, because your letter is centered, right? Your monogram, probably should call it a monogram, monogrammed boxes. Okay, so it's centered, and it's going to keep that light in the center. It's not going to shift around. And then when we put this in here, I think it always starts off on red. So this is kind of fun. And then we can pop this in here like this. Oh, isn't that cool? It is so cool. All right, now for decoration. I know I could have done lots of different things with decorating, and I think I have lost, oh, here it is. So many pieces. But there's different ways to decorate things. I know this tutorial has gone long, so let's just talk about real quick what we can do for decoration. So in the Delicate Pines bundle, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't stamp on here. This is the branch right here. If I knew where I was going to put things in advance, and what I did for these ones is I planned them out first before I assembled the boxes. So I knew I had all of these pieces kind of laying out, and I knew that I needed to extend my branches this direction. Okay, now I didn't plan this one out, so I have not stamped anything on it. But once you know kind of where you're going to put stuff, then you can do your stamping ahead of time. So these little branches I cut with this die here, and I actually had a bunch of skinny strips left over, so I kind of just, you can cut half, or you can find a long strip and cut, you know, both. This is a good thing that you can use up for scraps of cardstock. This is garden green, and you know, I would just kind of lay out the pattern that you want. It doesn't matter if you go over top of your letter a little bit. I think that actually kind of helps bring that together. It looks a little wonky in the center. You can cut the centers a little shorter if you want, or here are, like, I always keep extra pieces that I cut for different projects, so that I don't use, and they're leftovers. So then I kind of just keep them around to play with if I'm doing my next project. So here is a pine cone. So you can just kind of, I would just put a little glue on the back of those, and then I adhered these down with these are black dimensionals. So if you peek from the side, you're not going to see the white. Oh, this one actually was part of a project that I pulled apart. But you can put 2 black dimensionals, and then you can cover up a lot of the insides, like the mess where the branches overlap. You can do that. And then you can take, this is, I'm not going to actually decorate this right now, but you can take another branch and have it come up from the top if you want to. You can stick with one color, you can do 2 colors. I really liked garden green. This is old olive. You could do like snowflakes. I would probably do like a smaller snowflake than this one. I would probably do this smaller one right here. And then you can die cut them out with any one of these. I would go a little smaller, like this one on the inside here. I would maybe stamp that, and then there is a die that cuts out that one. It is, I think it is, oh, it's this one here. It's this one here, and it will cut out here, and you could have like a snowflake up top there like that. So you can just decorate however you want. For different occasions, like if it was a birthday, maybe you have some balloon die cuts, or florals would also look really nice if you're going into spring with this design. But I do love the Delicate Pines bundle, and this is the matching paper. And I'm just gonna pull the paper out because I didn't talk about the beautiful paper, which I probably should have. This is the Elegant Pine Snowflakes paper, and it's gorgeous. Like, it's just got really beautiful patterns, and they will look really nice on the sides of your boxes if you're kind of doing that joy theme. But that is all there is to it. And then, you know, with the leftovers, create yourself a little card, and this is just using that same paper. A very easy card, but you know, the paper does a lot of the heavy lifting. And why not create a card when you already have those die cuts just sitting right there, not doing anything at all? So there you go. I think, I hope that's self-explanatory how, you know, you kind of arrange these. Oh, the berries. I didn't talk about the little berries. Where are you? Where's the little berry die cut? So there's different berries here that you can use. I like to use these guys. And for my O box here, you can just take this and put it on a piece of like cherry cobbler, and it will die cut 3 of the berry sets for you all at one go, and then you have 2 for the bottom and 1 for the top, right? So it's a very easy, and this one is just 2 pine boughs. They are stacked like this, and like this, and then I would just get rid of however much you need off the end, like just snip off the extra, and then you can just grab some berries and stick them down there and anchor them. And you know, I did another sprig up here, and then I took another little piece from a leftover one and just added another little piece kind of going down there. So it's a very easy. Now instead of joy, you have a job. Let's put joy back in there. There we go. Joy. They are just so beautiful. I took 50 photos last night because I was waiting for the colors to change as I was photographing them. And, you know, it's hard to kind of coordinate how the colors will turn. And so I ended up like with 50 photos of my joy boxes last night to choose from to see, you know, which ones had the nicest color combinations when they were switching colors. The lights aren't on right now on these, but you can see how beautiful they are, and what a great little gift, right? And then, you know, in terms of, I'm keeping on going, I just want to kind of show you, I think a lot of you know Kisses, right? Hershey's Kisses, what size a kiss is. Let's just take one of these boxes right now. And let's just dump a bunch of Kisses in there so you can kind of see volume-wise how many you could possibly fit, and that kind of will give you an idea, because you can put different candy in here, but Kisses is something I always have just in case I have an idea that I want to use them with. So let's count how many it will take to fill it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 16, 18. So there's quite a bit of volume in here. 20, 22, 24. I would say, like, to fill it with Kisses, you could still throw some more in there, but to make it look like it was like full, about 25 Kisses fit in here. So you could put Linder Truffles, Ferrero Rocher. There's so many different candies that will fit in here. This depth right here is 1 5/8. So you can't get anything deeper than that. But all of those truffles will fit in there. So just so you know, and you don't have to. You can go to the candy store right away if you're waiting to get your dies so you can make these monogram boxes. I think, I don't know, I love the joy, you know, and that it changes colors. I always think that kind of sets the mood for a place. And over the years, I have made so many different tea light holders. So you can have like a whole collection of them if you keep getting the supplies each year to make the different ones. All right, thank you for hanging in. And if you liked this video, I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I go live every single week. Usually it's a 3D projects on Fridays. I do a card on Tuesdays. And if you're on subscribe to my channel, you will usually get notifications. There is a notifications button though that I think you have to turn on so to get notified by me. If you're on my email list, I do send out a notification usually 15 minutes to half an hour before I go live, and I go live Tuesday and Friday mornings around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can kind of figure out when I'm going to go live if you want to watch me then. And after you subscribe, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Any way you interact with this video is awesome, and I really appreciate that. This idea I was going to do as a paid tutorial, but I think just the supplies that you need, they were in and out of stock all the time, and now we're getting very close to Christmas. I just decided to push this last one out. I wasn't even sure if I was going to still do any Christmas projects, but I think this one is too nice not to get the supplies for, even if you're not going to do it this year. And also, you know, the party alphabet dies, they're in the annual catalog, so they should be around for a little longer. The everyday arches dies, they're going to be around as long as we keep them popular, because they were an online exclusive. Those could retire in 2 months. Hopefully they'll stick around, because I love big dies for my projects, for my 3D projects. And remember, there is another size box that you can do with these arches dies that I have already created for you earlier in the year. All right, let's say hi to all of you while you're still here. I know this video has gone super long. I had a lot to talk about, and I want to make sure the project sheet is for people that understand the construction and don't need any help. This video is for anyone that wants to go back and see how I did something. And I'm going to go slow enough so that you can see it, so that you can replay it and you can work along with me. When you get your dies, put my video on. You probably can work along with me because I go slow enough. Good morning, Kathy. Oh, and she says it's brisk this morning. Hello, Valerie. Oh, you're close to Lake Erie. That can really get hit for sure. I've been on the north shore of Lake Erie in Canada, and yeah, brr. She says her husband has made the commute for over 30 years. Winter was particularly rough because the weather changes between here and there almost always. Wow. Yes, that is anywhere around the Great Lakes in the winter can be really cold. And we started early this year. Hello, Deborah, and she's in Virginia Beach. Hello, Nancy. Oh, and it looks like you got some snow. Hello, Terry from freezing Ohio. It's a trend this morning. Hello, T. Hello, Mary. Hello, Deirdre from cold Mississippi. And Linda from freezing New Mexico. Karen. Karen's going to watch the replay. Well, I hope you get to watch it later. Hello, Tina. And yeah, it's a very chilly morning in Massachusetts, isn't it? It's brr. T says it's not cold in Oregon, but lots of rain. I guess no one's getting unscathed today. You're either cold or you're wet. Any youpers today? Talk about snow. We have to find out what a youper is. Okay. I'm skipping over some people. A lot of people are loving the project. Thank you so much. Karen says she loves the arched boxes and she's never seen the multicolored tea lights before. Oh my gosh, they are amazing. And if you don't want to do colors, do the flickering tea lights. They're also really cool. Both of them are nice, but I figured for this one, the color changing lights would work really well with the word joy because it kind of like brings joy with the colors, right? All right. Hello, Janine from Utah. And Terry says on the order screen, when you're ordering, it does give you a prompt to add the paper, except for me, I was just like so distracted that I didn't remember to put the paper on. Not my finest moment, but yeah, I will do better next time. When you make a mistake, it helps you for the next time, right? You don't forget. Hello, Jean. Karen says it's cold in Iowa, but in the high 20s, 15 degrees right now, and snow showers. Oh my goodness. Jian says she loves this idea, and she used these tea lights using your place. Oh, we already talked about that earlier. She made some of those for her place settings. Good morning, Jean. And she loves the project, but she doesn't have the alphabet set. It's just too expensive. Okay, so say you wanted to do this project, but maybe you couldn't do like a monogram. A monogram. I do have a suggestion for you. If you do have everyday arches, what I would do, if I can find my little arch dies, I have layers and layers and layers upon stuff. Okay. I have a suggestion for you. Now, it's not going to be as cool as having letters. I will just say that much. It's not going to be that cool. But okay, say we did, I'm just going to pop up this one right here. Okay, this is the one that we use for the outside. Okay, this is the one we use for the liner. Let's say, not that size. Maybe this size. Or maybe go even down one size. You'd have to kind of see. But how about instead of cutting a letter, you cut yourself another window. And it will look kind of like an arched, maybe like a church window, right? And then you center this one. And then you put the vellum behind, and this is the opening instead of the letter. So that is a little alternative. You can't spell out a word, but you can still have fun. And then, this could be just like a one-off then. Or you could make multiples of them and have them sit on your mantle too. This die right here, this is probably the one that I would say would be the best one. This die it's not quite 1 3/4 inches across, so I would use that die, around 1 3/4 inch die to create that one. So that's a little alternative for you if you don't want to get the alphabet die. And T says you could save up your rewards to get your alphabet die, and that is an absolutely cool thing too. And alphabet dies are really kind of fun because you can spell out things on your cards, and so they have lots of different uses. You can make like a long slimline card if you want to like do a bigger word. So it's whatever you're going to have use for. But if you don't have them, then use the everyday arches to create an extra little one. All right. How large are the letters? I think they're about. Let me get one that is. They are quite large. They are about They're a little bit over 2¼ inches high. So, Deirdre says that's how she got her alphabets. She saved up her rewards. That's awesome. Hello, Sweet Pea from Massachusetts. Hello, Linda. Deirdre says, my creative abilities are amazing. You come up with the most unique projects. Well, thank you. I just play around until something works. That's basically what I do. Hello, Verblue from our freezing Missouri. Oh my goodness, everyone's cold today. Hello, hello, Granny Nan from Tennessee. And she says, I have cute projects. Thank you. Hello, Joey. And it's 21 degrees in Fahrenheit in Calgary. Brr. Calgary is one of those interesting cities. They just always get hit by extreme weather, don't they? And she says she loves the projects. Thank you. Deborah says it's a great project for Tealights. And all right. T says, very nice projects. Ellie says, wow, they're great. Thank you, Ellie. You're so sweet. Kathy says, fun and inspiring. She has several January birthdays that I think I'll be making this for. Well, that's great. And that's the adaptability. And if you remember, I'm going to go over afterwards, and I'm going to post this project on my Bee Stamping with QB Facebook group. And then if you make something with this same project, or if you have another 3D project you want to share with us, you can share it over on the Facebook group, and we can see what you have done with it, and we can inspire each other. I'm going to start popping in over there a little bit more often. I haven't checked in the last week because it was Thanksgiving, but I want to have a way for you to share your 3Ds with me too, and because I love them. And also, sometimes people send me their alternatives with my projects. And this is a place where you can share them with me and with a lot of other people. So Bee Stamping with QB is the Facebook group. And it is a private group, so you need to ask to join. But I've been approving people, so just let me know and I will get you on the group. All right. Tina says, what about Christmas tree die instead of the alphabet? Absolutely. You can put whatever you want in the center there and still make it fun. So, but if you have the everyday arches dies, you can use an arch die in the center. So just have fun playing around. I think we get our most creative when we don't have every single supply in the world. And not to say that I don't have a lot of supplies and I don't bring in a lot of supplies each catalog cycle, but I only use current products. So for me, every time I design something, it is kind of a limited supply challenge too, because I'm only using what I have available to me right now. And so, that's when you can get really creative, is when you have to look around your room and see what else you could use for the center instead. All right, everyone, have a great weekend and watch for my project sheet in your email inbox tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.